The word narcissist gets used a lot now, and it usually turns up right after something ended badly. My ex was a narcissist. My best friend was a narcissist. My parents were narcissists. Sometimes it fits. Most of the time, it's just the closest available word for somebody who hurt you and never once admitted to any of it, which is a real thing that happened to you. It's only that it isn't a diagnosis. A person doesn't have to be a narcissist to have narcissistic traits, and most people have a few of them. Wanting to be admired, getting defensive the second anybody criticizes them, telling the story with themselves at the center of it, needing to be right about something small long after everyone else has stopped caring. Those turn up in ordinary people who are otherwise fine to be around. You've probably got one or two. I have. Narcissistic personality disorder, the clinical one, is much less common than the word makes it sound. And having a handful of traits isn't the disorder any more than a bad month is depression. So most of the people getting called narcissists probably aren't in the clinical sense. And none of that has anything to do with whether they hurt you. What the label ends up doing is standing in for the confusion and the hurt and the how did I not see this coming? All of it at once. And once a single word is standing in for that much, it stops telling you anything useful about what actually went on. A lot of people keep meeting the same person, not literally the same type. A woman gets out of a controlling relationship and she's clear about it at the time. She can tell you exactly what he did and why she left. And then 2 years later, she catches herself explaining a new boyfriend's behavior with the same sentences she used about the last one. Somebody raised by a difficult parent gets out, moves a few states away, and ends up with a boss who talks to her the way her mother did. Friends who call when they need something and not otherwise. A partner whose mood she spends most of her week working around. The faces change, the arrangement doesn't. It's tempting to turn that into a question about yourself. What's wrong with me that I attract these people? And I'd be careful with that one. It usually isn't accurate, and it puts the whole thing on the person who was already on the receiving end of it. Two other things are generally going on instead. The first is familiarity. If you grew up reading the front door to work out what kind of evening it was going to be, if you got your little brother out of the kitchen before it started, if you apologized first for something you hadn't done because that ended it faster, then somebody who needs all of that from you doesn't set off any alarms. Everyone talks about red flags like they're obvious, but a red flag is only a warning if it registers as one. And when you spent 8-10 years inside that arrangement, it doesn't register as a warning. It registers as ordinary. It registers as what people are like. You're not drawn to being treated badly. Nobody is. You're drawn to what's familiar. And for some people, the familiar arrangement happens to include being the one responsible for how everybody else feels, which is why the steady partner, the one who doesn't need anything worked around, can feel like nothing much is happening. There's no problem to solve and no evening to get ahead of. And the difficult one feels like love because it's the love you learned first. The second is that certain traits get treated as an opening. People who are highly empathetic, who over-explain themselves, who give more than they get, who can't say no without spending the rest of the day feeling bad about it. None of that is a flaw. It's most of what makes somebody good to know. It's also useful to a person looking for somebody who'll absorb a lot and ask for very little back. And that's a different sentence than you attract bad people. A certain kind of person works out fairly quickly who'll co-sign the loan, who'll take the kids for the third weekend running, who'll cover $1,100 of somebody else's rent and never bring it up again. They're not reading your soul, they're working out what you'll agree to. One of those explanations makes it your fault and leaves you nothing to do about it. The other describes something you can actually change. There's a family arrangement underneath a lot of this. When people talk about difficult parents, they usually mean one of them, the obvious one, The mother who criticized everything or ran the whole house off her own moods or turned every birthday into an occasion about herself. But there was often a second parent in that house, the one nobody blamed, who also never did anything. He kept the peace by staying out of it. He picked up the longer shift so he wouldn't be home at 6. He told you afterward that she didn't mean it and it wasn't worth getting into. He was pleasant to you in the car on the way to school and said nothing about the night before. Sometimes he had nothing left and was doing what he could. Sometimes he was self-focused too, in a way that was much harder to name when you were 9 and living in the middle of it. Either way, the kid in that house learns early that the job is to accommodate, to go first, to make it easier for everybody else. And you don't stop doing that just because you moved out at 18 and paid your own rent every month afterward. It follows you into your 20s and your 30s. And mostly you don't notice because as far as you can tell, it's just how you are. None of this is about blame. You didn't cause how somebody else decided to treat you. And there's no personality trait that makes being treated that way your fault. Naming the arrangement is only useful because it changes the question. Instead of asking what's wrong with you that attracts these people, which has no answer you can do anything with, you can ask what feels familiar to you and who tends to benefit from that. So the type that keeps turning up in your own life, when you look back at it, was it really the same person over and over, or was it the same role you kept getting handed?